You are tuning in to John Pierre and Mary's fun-loving, crazy, and honest podcast.
If it don't smell bad, it must be clean.
Unequally Yoked, where any and every topic, life,
Marriage.
I'll go first because I have something to say.
Uh-oh.
Kids and entrepreneurship are up for discussion.
How does Mary, a pastor's daughter,
And John, a guy who rarely saw the inside of a church growing up, get together and stay together.
We all have roles.
what does life look like 10 plus years into marriage?
2 kids and trying to run a family business.
How do we keep this nest egg from cracking?
What you mean?
Listen in to Unequally Yoked as we dive in to give a man
Next. And woman's perspective
Somebody back me up on
Nobody.
to all the topics married folks are talking about.
this. Are you ready?
Let's do this, boo. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 3 of Unequally Yoked with John Pierre and Mary. Last week we were talking about, finding your new normal. And in that, we were saying that people have been sitting in their houses, they've been looking at all the stuff,
Yes.
they're working from home, and they're like, I hate everything in my house.
Right.
Okay, how do we fix this? How do we help them say, okay, it doesn't cost a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't cost a lot to just go maybe one room at a time and not do it all at the same time and feel overwhelmed.
Right.
So we thought the best way to talk about that and to segue it is to bring in our friends from Elizabeth Cole. We have Ruben with us and Jonna joining us from Elizabeth Cole today. Hey, y'all.
Or afternoon, wherever you are.
Right. Thank you guys so much for coming on here with us. You're our first guest of season 2.
That's right.
DJ Horn.
It is extremely exciting, and it's cool to try to make it work in this format too.
Yeah.
So this is really cool.
So how are you guys been doing, amidst all of the new procedures and everything that's been going on?
Well, we officially opened the doors back up without appointments on May 1st,
Cool.
when most of Houston, Harris County did. And it was back to normal. It was steady. I think everybody was a little cautious, with the whole wearing a mask every day and all that kind of stuff. But, it's crazy in our industry right now. Furniture is high demand. And our manufacturers are really struggling with keeping up with it. And their warehouses being half staffed,
Right.
keeping everybody apart. So our lead times are getting difficult, but
Yeah.
we're dealing with it. I'm just glad we have a whole showroom full of furniture.
Yeah.
Huge challenges, but we're facing them
Yeah.
one at a time and just doing what we can. So.
Yeah, on the construction side, we're dealing with those same issues. Like, I am literally sourcing the whole earth for the little penny tile. I don't know why. All of a sudden, everybody wants the mosaic penny tile, but I can't find it. Everything is in demand, and there's just nothing in stock,
Yeah.
And because people are wanting right now to renovate their houses, and they're wanting, to sit on new couches and to lay in pretty beds, So how can we help them do that?
Yeah, I think the whole industry, just because people have been sitting at home this whole time,
Yeah.
they've been sitting on their couch that they don't like, and they've been looking at their TV that they don't like, and they've been looking at their house that they don't like, and so it seems like this whole industry has gotten really, really busy of late.
Yeah.
So construction is
Oh, yeah.
crazy. I'm sure it's crazy for y'all too. And then the problem is, like you said, lead times, because everyone's working shorter staffed. Products are harder to come in. There's all kind of things happening, that are out of our control. And so it's hard to deal with, but it's a good problem to have. It's better to,
Yeah.
It is a good problem.
yeah, right? It's better than the other way.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we wanted to ask you guys, one of the things that I always hear from people is, they don't even know where to start. Like, they're sitting in their house and they have like this full list of, things that they hate about their home. What advice would you give people, as far as what room to start with?
When I'm starting a home project with a client, I usually like to ask them to create like a list of priorities. Like, what rooms do they use on a daily basis? And let's focus on those. Where do you live and how do you live? And and you know what those priorities. I think that's a good place to start. From there, certainly the next step, which John and I have talked about with one client after another, is do they need that upholstery? And if so, let's start making those decisions and working on those areas first, just because the lead times are so great.
Yeah, I mean, some of our lead times for upholstery is like 14 weeks out. So if they know they want a new sofa, oh yeah, it's getting bad.
Wow.
I mean, we have some vendors that they're not even going to produce until March.
Wow.
And that's on custom.
Yeah.
That's on custom.
Yeah.
We can look at some items too that are ready made, which won't take as long as they're in stock.
Right.
So,
Right.
But, yeah, and then we have so much on the floor too to work with and start from as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they find something on the floor, they can take it with them today. I mean, that's easy. You know.
But yeah, I think the priority and a good place to start, is prioritize, and then we just go from there. I mean, sure, you might want to do your whole place, but let's be honest. You know, budget, time frames, all that kind of stuff. Let's start, just like you said earlier, Mary, in one area, get that completed, and then move on to phase 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right. So if your problem area is your living room, would you say the first piece to start with is the largest one, or how do you guys direct them into, I guess, feeling inspired?
Color scheme.
Yeah, I was going to say probably, you know, whatever the room is. I think you said living room. I mean, you know, the sofa's going to be the biggest piece. That's going to be kind of the ground or the anchor. John was mentioning color scheme now. I think that's, you know, a color scheme, a theme, a lifestyle, you know, kind of what you want to project in that room. And that would be helpful for someone like myself helping design the room.
Right.
I need to know, you know, somehow if we can illustrate a way of the direction that you want to go, and then we start with, perhaps that color scheme, and then we start honing in on fabrics and artwork and rugs and so forth that are going to work.
All the
within
things.
Right after that.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, because when you talk about lifestyle, there are people who have dogs, they have children who don't care about, you know, the pretty pillows like our children. They don't care. My throw pillows are always on the floor, and I'm constantly having to fluff them like twice a day. You know, they
we're actually sitting on a sofa that's a performance fabric. So
that's cool.
As light colored as this is actually performance fabric for kids and dogs.
What do you mean? What does that mean, performance fabric?
Stain resistant.
Oh.
Stain resistant. So sometimes what it'll do is it'll just sit on top like bubbles, like if you were to Scotch guard like your car seats or something like that. That same concept. Yeah.
That's something big that we're trying to portray throughout the showroom, and I think all of our lines have some sort of performance fabric, or they have sombrella fabrics. They all work very similar, where it's a lifestyle fabric where you can like not only appreciate and it looks good, but also you can live on your furniture and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's cool. So one of the things that I always try to factor in whenever we're doing our construction and renovation projects is budget. So when it comes to figuring out the budget for, let's say, a living room, what would someone expect to, like, you know Mary style, obviously, right? So
yeah, I go towards all the things that cost the most.
So if I'm the opposite of Mary,
we can't help we're expensive gals, you know.
And so if you're not Mary and you're more like me, then, like, you know, is there a way to, you know, like, because one of the things I like to think about is, you know, people don't have a massive budgets like Mary likes to dream about.
Wow.
Right? How do people who have, like, you know, not say, you know, balling on a budget, but just want to have something nice that isn't going to cost them a whole
quality,
lot of money.
comfort, like checking those
Those
items
boxes,
off.
yeah.
Quality, comfort, and pretty.
Yeah. So, like, what would be a cost for that kind of stuff?
I think the biggest thing that I always try to express to people is I want the realistic budget, because what you're going to use the most in your living room is going to be your sofa. That's where you're going to sit with your kids. That's where you're going to watch TV. You know, your end tables that might be next to your sofa, you don't have to spend as much money on that because you're not sitting on it and watching TV. You know, it's just going to hold a lamp and your remotes and whatever. So when they give a budget, whether it's $2,500 for the whole living room or $5,000 for the whole living room, knowing what they want out of their sofa, how much they're going to use it, how many kids do they have, how many, do the dogs, are the dogs allowed on the sofa?
No.
You kind of go in that direction. Because you can get, I mean, this sofa we're sitting on right now, it's $1,000 and it's a performance fabric.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow, that's great.
And it's, how long is this thing? Probably at least
It's about
90 inches.
I was gonna say 90.
I mean, it's not a small sofa, and it's comfortable. It's got down wrapped cushions and everything. So
Wow.
you don't have to break the bank just to get a fabric that'll work your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, we have sofas that are $600, and we have sofas that are $3,000.
Mary,
Right.
just as a side note, I just did this display yesterday, and we're talking about numbers. I added this up yesterday, and I think it costs more than the sofa. But, you know, I like pretty things too, just like you do. So,
All the pretty things.
you know, it is-
So, but what's the difference between $1,000 sofa and say a $6,000 sofa? Is it the name brand? Is that what you're paying for, or what?
No, there's a lot in the construction of the piece of furniture that a lot of people don't see, and a lot of people really don't even care.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it too is the quality of the fabrics. I mean,
Mm.
higher end vendors use fabrics that be more exclusive, so you don't see that fabric everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like clothing. If you know a name brand, some people in furniture know a name brand and they pay for it.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, not to say that $1,000 sofa doesn't have great construction, but it's probably not 8-way hand tied. You know, so some people that's important too. And I think the clients that have experienced furniture in their days, they want that they know the quality's gonna last.
Yeah.
And I can, you know, we can look at designing a sofa that costs $4,000, but we can also entertain a $900 sofa. The $900 sofas that we carry are probably going to be ready-made. They're probably going to be right out of a catalog. They're probably not going to offer too many options. Whereas you get what you pay for. If you want this, you're going to pay for it. If you want to add this, you're going to pay for it. So, but it's a quality story. It's a back and forth.
Right.
Really, as Donna has said, it's a matter of how you use it, that priority list, you know, where it's going in the home. Are you using it every day, or is it going to be in a room that you use like once a week?
Right.
So, you know,
And some people change their furniture like they do their wardrobe. So I mean, if they know in
Yeah.
a year,
Yeah. Yeah.
they know in a year they're going to get a new sofa. They're not going to spend
Yeah.
$6,000 on one.
Right. And see, I'm not that way. Even though I love all the things, I'm a change things around like once every 10 years, which is, by the way, hitting that 10-year mark right now. I'm starting to get that itch. I'm looking at my house and I'm like, just demolish the whole thing and start over. And
Yeah.
so for me, it's worth to spend, $6,000 on a sofa because I don't know. Do the math, John. You the math person.
I don't know, but $6,000 is a lot, so the math is
No.
already lost on me.
Well, no, because if you're changing it every 10 years and you want a sofa that's going to last that 10 years, like the one that we have, this thing, I'm telling you, it's solid. Like there are no butt imprints in it. It's not smush.
Yeah.
It literally looks like what it looked with, we do have the children now. Let me take that back. It don't look like what, I have to get it cleaned once a year, but it's holding steady because we didn't go cheap.
The construction of it's good.
Right,
Yeah.
the construction of it is, I love that couch so much. I would get it reupholstered. Like I would change just the fabric on it because the cushion, the pillows, everything still looks great. And that's because we chose not to go, on, I guess, the lower end, knowing that we would keep it for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
So
agree.
don't try to hate on me, John.
the one thing that I would want to project too is maybe when you're in the planning stage of choosing like an anchor piece like your sofa, is maybe think about the long term of it and that color scheme. Maybe we could look at a color scheme that's a little bit more neutral, like what we're sitting on, and maybe you reinvent the pillows, the throw, the rug underneath, and you get a longer term out of that investment piece too. So that's
Exactly.
something to think about as well.
Yeah, that's what we were going to just ask you about, how to make an impact on the budget. And one of those things are throw pillows. And so I was going to ask John, like as a realtor, when you're going into homes and, your clients are needing to stage their homes without having to having to put all that money into, buying all new furniture, what are the things that, you think as a realtor make an impact?
Yeah, I always think that it's good to go with like the living room, the three main rooms, right? Living room, dining room, and master bedroom, right?
Yes.
And I feel like that's where you're going to get the most impact for a room. But my question to you guys is more along the lines of whenever you walk into that unique space, the house that has the room that doesn't necessarily conform to any one particular space. And this is probably a question for you as well. As a designer, how do you guys decide what you're going to make out of that room so that it looks appealing to a house, to the next buyer? How do you guys decide what you're going to do with the house? Because I'm looking at this, what you guys have done right here. This looks amazing. This little frame that you guys have created here, it's fantastic, and that would look amazing in any room. But how do you decide when you do that?
Well, I think too, it's the demographics of the neighborhood. If it's a neighborhood where there's a lot of kids around it, then if it's a room that's odd, you might make it a playroom, or right now a great home office for the kids. School zone type area. But if it's a neighborhood where it's empty nesters, maybe it's a craft room, right? Maybe the mom sews or something like that, or maybe it's just a small media room. I mean, I think it all depends on what that buyer is that's going to be that you would want to put in that room.
I guess something too would be just a trend, what's going on in the media and in the world lately. I mean, I think, we've had projects that have come up where we've taken a room that we weren't sure about and created a home office, which is trending right now because everybody is working from home. So I guess just validly finding, what's the neighborhood, what's the maybe the age group, maybe the community. Do they have a lot of kids, like Jonna said? Children and so forth. And so
that's great.
Those kind of attributes.
I definitely piggyback off of that because we do work from home and we luckily have that space. But we may have to walk into a house where they don't have a space for a home office, or they don't have a space for, say, a playroom, and you just have to take maybe the living room and create a space. You know what I mean? Maybe in the corner off somewhere. It doesn't have to be like some long, big desk. I mean, in our office right now, which, by the way, is a cubicle. Okay. Our office is, it's we're small. In here, and I'm like, when you need to go somewhere else. Okay. So we're we put a small dining table in our office instead of, a traditional desk because it just didn't work out. And so I think people get stuck in I have to have an office. I have to have this. And it's like, no, you can figure out a way to conform your space. There are no rules.
No. One of the biggest things that we see right now, and we have a set on the floor over at the front. People are also taking console tables that are a little bit taller and using like counter stools with them because a lot of kids are working off their laptops, their iPads.
We did that.
And if you have the room in your living room behind your sofa, that's the perfect place to go. Because that height of the counter table is perfect behind the sofa. And they're still in that area.
I love that idea.
It gets them out of the kitchen too. It gets them out of the kitchen and out of the way.
Yeah, but they still hungry. They still asking for snacks. Like every 20 minutes.
And it's long. So snacks beside it.
That's a great idea. That's a really cool tip for anybody who missed it is if you don't have a home office or if you don't have an area for your kids and they're at school, get you a long console table or a high table and put it right up against your sofa, almost like a sofa table. And I get mixed up, Ruben. Counter height versus counter height.
It's probably gonna be a counter height, and then you add some counter stools.
Okay. There's two. There's bar height and counter height, and I always get them mixed up. And Ruben had to draw it out for me, and I still get it wrong. But that's a really cool tip. Yeah, that's a really cool tip is to put that console.
6 or 8 inches shorter. Usually a bar height's about 42 and a counter's 36.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Everybody else listen to that.
Always think of it this way, Mary. A bar stool seat height is 30.
Okay.
And you leave 12 inches for your legs to go in, which makes the table 42.
This was the numbers first.
I was going to say, Ruben, I was like,
lost me
Jonna
already.
missed everything else when she started saying numbers. I was like, nah, she ain't going to remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but what, okay, so say it again, Jonna, so we can get it clearly.
For those with the numbers.
Yeah.
Everybody get a pad and paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's 12 inches. Your bar height is 12 inches from your seat height of your bar stool.
Which is 30 inches.
So if you're 42, your bar stool is 30 inches tall.
Gotcha.
So if your bar top's 42, your seat of your stool is 30.
And what about counter height?
About 36. Because then you go between 24 and 26 for a counter height.
All right, so this is the story I just made up in my head when she was saying that. bar height. So I'm thinking if I'm sitting at the bar, I only have 12 inches to fall out of my chair. Right? Is that like if I get drunk?
If you're sitting on the bar.
If I'm
yes. You got 12 inches to the seat.
On the bar, she's got 42 inches.
Yes.
Okay. So the moral of the story is I have a shorter distance to fall versus the counter.
No.
Yes.
What?
No. If it's counter height.
To break a bone. How about that?
Yes,
There we go.
Yes. If she's sitting at a counter height bar, you have less room to fall. You have less room to fall to hurt yourself. Bar height, you're gonna fall a little bit further. Yes.
I'm only drinking coffee. I haven't even started. It's the morning time. I don't.
We're derailing.
We're derailing.
We're trying to
quickly.
get the tips, and somehow the tips are turned into tipsy.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not. I'm not tipsy.
Exactly.
Gotta bring
Poor
it back.
John.
Gotta bring it back.
Bringing it back.
Gotta bring
Bringing
it back.
it back.
So my last question I have for you guys is, throughout this entire COVID experience, right? What has there been any adjustments that you guys have had to make on the fly that have kind of either given you an opportunity to make your business run better, or just do something more efficiently that you'd have to consider prior to the whole COVID thing?
Well, I mean, the everyday, wearing the mask, making those adjustments, posting.
Oh, the cleaning. I mean, we hired an extra person to help around with, the housekeeping and stuff, just to keep all the surfaces cleaner. Our bathrooms are constantly being cleaned.
Yeah.
But the day-to-day processes of, like, being here in the showroom, I mean, we have so much space that we're not crowded where we feel like our clients have to,
spread out or anything like
keep their
that.
distance. They're already walking around, and plus we're not pushy, so we're not following you anyway.
Right.
We're not on your coattail anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But I think the biggest thing is just people feeling comfortable that they can come in.
Yeah.
That we're not going to be all up in their business, and they can have peace to shop and get out of the house and do something.
Yeah, we can have our own regulations amongst ourselves and rules and things that we try to do to be safer and so forth, but it's all about making sure that our customers, our friends that come in are comfortable, and so that's what we're really trying to make sure happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. I tell you the one thing that I have enjoyed the most from going out in the public standpoint is when I go into the men's restroom, there's a lot more guys washing their hands now, which just makes me feel a lot better about life. So
apparently that wasn't being done before.
Right. Yeah.
I'm worried. I am worried.
So yeah, just
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, no, that's what I got. But that's great. Yeah, I think it's just really important that just extra hygiene. If there's anything that comes out of this, just extra hygiene, man. It really does make a huge difference, and it helps in a myriad of ways. Not just not spreading COVID, but just healthiness in general. So it's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Keep it clean, baby.
Keep it clean.
Please, all up in the streets of H-Town.
Yes.
Just keep it clean. But yeah, we thank you guys so much for using this time to talk to us and catch up. And for those of you who don't know, Elizabeth Cole, we have partnered with them now for what? 2 years?
2 years.
2 years.
Oh.
I love this freeze. Say that one more time. It froze up on us.
Oh, that memory of that photo of our install, that was 2 years ago, and I can't remember which house that was. I think it was Ashford. But yeah, I mean, it's flown by like that.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all have been great to us, and you were on TV with us and going for Sold. So we're excited what the future holds for us, and we just appreciate you guys and love you guys so much. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
All righty.
For all the news, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Bye. Well, that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. You and your tipsiness.
I'm not. It's just coffee, and you're sweating profusely.
I don't know why I'm sweating.
I think because they're our first guest of the season. We have all these things going on. We kind of went off format, but that's okay.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun, and I want to talk about Elizabeth Cole again. They have been just instrumental in helping us with our show Going for Sold. And all the staging furniture that you guys see on the shows comes from them. All of the core comes from them. So we are so grateful to have such an amazing partnership.
They have been absolutely awesome, and their store is fantastic. I know even for someone like me who I'm not really a big.
You were impressed when you went in there.
Highly impressed by the beauty in that store. So
because it's laid out so beautifully, it doesn't feel like I don't want to say your typical furniture store, but it's so warm and welcoming. Yeah. And like she said, they're not on your coattails. It's not about sales. It's just it gives, like, you walk in there, it's just the feels. It is. It's a good feeling. It
feels like you're walking from room to room. Not into a big store.
And they have everything, like every kind of style. Yeah. It's not like it's only this or it's only that. And then they have the access, like they were saying, if you want to get something custom, if you want to have something ordered. Yep. They have actually thousands of brands that they work with and vendors that they work with. So it's really cool. And best of all, they have free designing services. So if you don't know your color scheme, you don't know, what fits in your space, the designing, Ruben actually is one of their head designers there. And it can help you, piece your room together from the drapery all the way to the pillows and the rugs.
He's fantastic. So I think the biggest takeaway from that is that there is, number one, if you're working on your living room, start with your couch. That's what I learned.
That you learned.
I learned something.
What you learned,
I'm trying to figure out what I learned.
Okay.
Start with your couch. Mm-hmm. That there's plenty of options, and that you don't have to go out and buy the most expensive thing, but you can still find good quality. Yeah. Even at $600, $800, $900,000 couch versus a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 couch like this one over here is talking about.
It lasts.
And then finally, I think that what I learned from them mainly over the whole thing is that you have to enjoy and love what you do. Yeah. They love what they do. Yeah. And we love what we do. Yeah. So it's good to have people that love what they do on together. Yeah. And that was a lot of fun. So I was super, super happy and actually learned something today. So
awesome. So our homework assignment this week is not anything hard, but if you guys decide to update your living room, your office, your bedroom, tag us in your pictures. Tag Elizabeth Cole. Maybe go by their showroom and talk to Ruben and Jonna. You can ask for them directly. I know that they'll be really happy to help you. But the first 3 people to tag us, we may have a special surprise for you.
Dun, dun, dun.
Only 2 DJ horns of the
I know that's
episode. Well, because we were having a good conversation.
We were having a good time.
So tag us in your photos. Cool. I'm not tipsy. It's coffee. It really is coffee. Yeah, it really is coffee. But speaking of doing what we love, we want to segue into next week's episode, which is talking about flipping houses. We have so many people ask us questions about the flipping process. And so it's like this episode was kind of more me and all the pretty things. But, next week we'll have you and one of our really, really good friends, Alan, and business partner. Yeah, but he's our friend first.
Friend first. Always friend first.
Yes. We're going to have Mr. Alan Ekpenyon here. He's going to be talking to us about all of the real estate investments. And him and John are going to just be bromancing the whole time. It's going to be a big bromance.
It'll be a big bromance. I'm excited about that one. This is great. I can't wait. The guest thing is actually pretty fun. I think we need to do some more. It's a lot of fun.
I do enjoy talking to you, but, I do. But, it's nice to have other people to talk to.
It's definitely nice, and especially when there are people that we have already been working with. Yeah. So that
it makes it. It's just a big family. Yeah, it makes a big family. So please drop your questions. I know you guys have already sent us some on our social media. Mary TJP.
Jean-Pierre TJP.
Please, on our Harper Rain Homes account as well, send us questions. If you guys want to know about flipping, real estate, investments.
Give us some ideas for who you want us to try to bring on, because we love the guest. This is a lot of fun, the guest thing. So if you guys have things that you guys want to talk about, send them to us, and we'll see if we can find somebody that can help us get us through it.
Find somebody.
Anybody.
If you want to be on,
just whatever. Sure.
Mary, John, we want to talk to you guys on the video
on
thing.
The video.
Yeah, whoever.
On the videogram.
But it has to be pertinent to what we talk about.
It has to be pertinent. That's a good word. Way to bring it down.
You got it. All right,
That's
guys.
Our timer, guys.
That's our timer.
Bye.
Join us next week. She won't stop. It's not stop. The timer isn't stopping. Join us next week.
Join us next week.
Flipping 101.
Flipping 101 and
Scene. Bye.
bye, y'all.